Well, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and to this year's deer season. 2022 deer season is finally upon us. It's the second weekend. We got out on the opening weekend. One of my mates was lucky enough to get onto one of the ballot blocks, and he hasn't done much deer hunting, so he asked me to go up there and help him out for the weekend. And yeah, it didn't go to plan at all. We covered a lot of country. I think we did about 15k on Saturday and didn't see a single deer, didn't see hardly any sign. There was just nothing up there. So yeah, that was short-lived, so I didn't make a video on that. I was just more focused on trying to get him a deer, and yeah, it didn't work out. But second weekend, we're up at the usual spot, and I'm hunting again this weekend. Didn't go for a walk tonight, just got up here and cooked a feed up, and gonna get ready to head up the hill in the morning. So yeah, it should be good. We'll be up bright and early. Hopefully the weather doesn't come over too bad. I think it's going to rain during the night, but hopefully it stops during the morning, and that'll make the bush nice and quiet for us in the morning, so that'll be good. So yeah, I'm going to have a feed and head to bed, and I'll see you in the morning.
Made it up to the ridge. We're a lot later than we were hoping for. It was already shooting live when we left the car. Yeah, we all struggled to get out of bed this morning, but we've made it up here now. I just dropped down up in this spot, and I'm just wandering down the ridge. I'm going to sit in Dad's sit where he usually sits. He's not here this weekend, so I'm going to sit there for a few hours. And then if nothing happens, I'm going to do a little push under the bank here, and try to push something back to the other blokes. So yeah, we'll get down to this sit, and yeah, we'll go from there. Well, I've just made it to me sit. Just had these does come through below me as I was coming down the hill. I could hear them, and I thought they were spooked, so I ran down here, and they were just crossing through here, and they still didn't see me, and they just walked off over into the dogwood over here. No stags, just 4 does. But it's a good sign they're crossing the top, and this late in the morning as well. So yeah, we'll sit here until about 12 o'clock. And if I don't see anything or hear from the other boys, I'm going to sneak down under the bank here, cut back along and hit the track on the way out. We usually see a few deer just under the track, under the ridge here, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll sit tight for now and see what else pops out.
Well, it's just ticked over 11:30. Been sitting here for roughly 3 hours, and yeah, I only seen them deer come up when I first got here. Did have a hunter walk up below me, so that sort of ruined my hunt a little bit. It's probably ruined the plans to tuck under the bank here and cut back along as well, but I don't know, I'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll sit for probably another half hour or so, just see what happens, and yeah, we'll make a plan and go from there. Oh, she's about 12 o'clock now, and the wind was a bit iffy going under the bank, but we got up the ridge a little bit and it wasn't as bad, so grubs dropped down under the bank, and I'm just walking the ridge out. We're going to try to stay about the same distance along the ridge, so if he pushes anything straight up the hill, it could come straight up to me. So that's the plan anyway. We're not really stalking, we're just more walking pace. And yeah, see if it doesn't work that way. just found what looks to be an old scrape. There's another one just up there, only about probably not even 200 yards. It was active last year, right in the bottom of this saddle here. So yeah, I'm nearly through to the track. Yeah, and I walked the edge of that ridge so I could see off in down below me. Some nice benches through there, but didn't see a thing. So I will meet up with the other boys, and, head back to the shack and have a feed, and go for a little hunt this afternoon somewhere a bit closer. I don't reckon we'll come back up here tomorrow, it's just too far for another day. I might just hunt down lower again tomorrow morning, so yeah, we'll see how we go anyway. Well, it's about 7 o'clock. Sneaking into the evening sit a bit late. I'm heading into what we call Par's Corner. It's a spot where my grandfather used to sit a lot, where two creeks meet and forms a little 90-degree corner. This is where Dad and I seen that real nice black one at the end of the season last year. So we're hoping to get another look at him. So he should be a really good stag this year, so we'll sneak in here and sit probably only an hour till dark, and yeah, fingers crossed he walks out. Well, I've just made it to me sit. I came in here as quiet as I could because I'm a bit late and I thought the deer could already be in here, but unless they've already passed through, but they're not in here yet. I spooked a deer on the way in here. I'm not sure what it was. Out the track a bit further, so I shouldn't worry anything coming off the hill, but there's a heap of kangaroo in here already, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the deer aren't far behind them. I've just made it up to me sit in the same spot I did last weekend on Saturday. It's been a tough couple of weeks. I've yet to put eyes on a stag, and even the does, I haven't seen many does at all, but fingers crossed this weekend we get a look at a couple. But Dad and Steve are back up this weekend. Steve's only sitting about 300 yards up the bank from me, and Dad's sitting out in the saddle we walk up into. So hopefully, fingers crossed, one of us can get onto a stag, and hopefully we're carrying this afternoon. So yeah, we'll sit tight and see what happens. We're about halfway through our sit. Been sitting for about 2 hours and haven't seen a deer yet. Very quiet morning. We spooked a few deer on the way in here in the saddle, and I spooked one just up the hill here, but yeah, nothing else. It's too still. It's so quiet. I don't reckon the deer like travelling when it's real still, because I know everything can hear them. But we'll give it a couple more hours, and yeah, if nothing happens, we'll head out. But fingers crossed we see something here shortly. Another disappointing morning on the hill. None of us seen a deer at our sits. We've seen a few walking in, but right on first light. But we sat each for about 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and yeah, seen nothing. So we're out of here, and we'll see how we go in the evening hunt.
it, which is a crossing on the creek, and Dad's gonna hunt up back down the river. They were just waiting to see what the wind was doing when they got over there, but I thought I'd sneak into the corner just here and yeah, see what pops out. Got about an hour and a half till dark, so yeah, hopefully something pokes out here shortly, and we can yeah, we can get one on the ground. That's a good sign. Still about half an hour left of daylight, and that doe and fawn were walking down the road. That's a really good sign. They're still coming down here, so I'll get a bit more footage of them. Hopefully there's a stag with them somewhere. They did not go at all where they were meant to. I would have thought for sure they would have went down through that corner and into that paddock, but they just kept walking down the road. I have no idea what they were doing, but it's a good sign. They're comfortable walking down the road at this hour of the night, so They still don't know what's going on, but yeah, they got below me there and my wind was drifting that way and they smelt me, so yeah, they're running across the flat there now, but no bloody stags. Bugger. Good spiky though. Really good spiky. Never know. Stags could follow on down the flat, down the track, but I don't reckon. They've just ran out across the flat there, so anyway, we'll continue to sit here and see what happens anyway in this last 20 minutes or so.
Well, she's right on last light. I'm not sure you can even see me. Not a bad evening. A lot better than the season's gone so far. Seen a few deer. They didn't go exactly where they were meant to. I thought that for sure they were going to come out on the marsh, but ended up walking straight down the road and got below me and got my wind, so I'm not sure they even knew what that was. They ran across the marsh there and yeah, they didn't know which way to go. They didn't know what I was or where I was, I don't think, but anyway, there's a good group of does there. I really thought that spiky was a stag. He was, I could just see him through the wattles and I could see a bit of antler, and I thought it might have just been a stag's browse, but yeah, not to be. He walked around the corner and yeah, spiky, but yeah, one there to work on anyway, so yeah, head back now and I'll catch you in the morning. The next morning, Dad and I sat on a landing that had been thrashed to pieces the year before, in hopes the stag was still around. The wind wasn't good, but we sat there for about an hour before hunting our way down a sneak track into a bedding area. We found a week-old rub and a bit more sign from around the same time, but nothing fresh. We got to the elevation where we could see the neighbour's property and see that all the deer were still out on the paddock. We watched them for a while and found one decent stag amongst them, but getting him onto our side of the fence without any hunting pressure was going to be difficult. We then stalked into an area Dad found a stag the year before to see if he was still around. So what's going on in here? What happened here last year?
I was up on the land and I just came over the face of it to get a bit of a look down the bank, and I heard the deer come in here. I could hear him, he was rubbing, carrying on, and he never came through. So in the end I thought, well, I still had a week and a half left, I'll come in and have a look at him. And he got out, I never saw him. But this was all...
Get ready. Get ready. That was deer running up there.
Yep.
Yep. That's one way to interrupt an interview.
Yeah, I got in here and he had this worked up to piece. There was scrapes in here and he had a couple of beds, a couple of rubs, and then a game trail going out over the bank, and that was red hot. But he's been back in his bed the last week or so, looking, that's just cleaned out and there's a bit of shit in there, but he's not in here hot like he was. He suspect he hasn't been pushed in here yet probably, so we just keep an eye on him and see if he starts poking about again. That might have been him that Glenn just put, I don't know, but cold spot for a deer, pretty hard to get at him.
That was his bed there last year. You can see here, we rubbed this tree last year. here that he's rubbed as well and broken off. Hopefully we get another look at him. Well, that was a pretty good morning. Seen quite a few deer. Only problem was most of them were on the neighbouring property. But we did see one nice stag, but I probably won't show the footage just because it is on the neighbour's property. So yeah, but found where that deer was last year and he's been in there, but he just hasn't quite moved back in yet. So and there's a few does pushing up that bank, so we'll stay on him and yeah, hopefully he hooks onto him in the next week or so. But yeah, good hunt. So we'll head back and have some lunch and go for another evening hunt. We're just not having any luck here. We've just walked up to the edge of the neighbour's property. It's 5:30, 6 o'clock, and there's deer out on the paddock already. Right out in the middle of it, so it makes it a bit hard when we can't access it. So yeah, we were hoping there was going to be some people there pushing around and pushing back over our side, but hasn't happened. But hopefully the later in the season we get, the stags get a bit worked up and they come looking for does, they'll travel around a bit and could push over to us. You've got to be in the right spot at the right time. You're probably wondering why we're focusing so much on the deer that are on the neighbour's property, but we can hunt pretty much all the land that surrounds this property up in the bush. So if we can see where the deer are coming out of an evening, we can try and hunt that based off where they come out. That's sort of what we did this morning. We go up on the hill where they usually come out, but they were still down real low. Hopefully when the stags start to move around a bit, they start pushing into the bush a bit more into our area, so we can get a look at them. But at the moment they're just sticking out on the paddocks and not coming off at all. We watched the deer on the paddock for the rest of the evening, but no stags were seen. But with the amount of does around, there is bound to be a decent stag turn up shortly. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all again in a couple of weeks when we are back in the bush chasing that stag of a lifetime.